Welcome, everybody, to Incidentally in the News. I thought I was going to have to do this all by myself because our team is going crazy with responses to incidents and breaches abound. This is a never-ending story for our industry, unfortunately, but I am lucky enough to have our Chief Technology Officer back here with us today, Larry Whiteside Jr. Thank you so much for calling in even from your car.
Yes, no problem. Always.
I know we missed it last week, and so we've got a few topics to catch up from last week, and we're both on a tight time frame here, so I'm just going to jump right into it. One of the first things that I saw last week that made me giggle for sure at first, but then also made me really take a think about how sensitive we've become in today's culture and what we're thinking about. The Tribune Publishing Company. They were being forward thinking about their cybersecurity awareness and testing their vulnerability. And this is a thing that, a lot of people don't know. In 2006, CyberClan actually started as network test labs, doing a majority of the work with penetration testing and vulnerability assessment. These are imperative for organizations to see how vulnerable they are to that all important statistic. What, 90% of all cyber breaches are as a result of social engineering or phishing and business email compromise. Super, super important. Tribune was being proactive. They had set up and worked with an organization to do phishing simulations, and by God, they just chose the wrong topic. Bonuses.
Right.
In a time of economic uncertainty, the staff got a little upset. It made it out to the news about the fact that this was a very insensitive topic that they used in order to trick their employees into seeing how vulnerable they are to phishing attacks. Larry, what say you?
Yeah, so this is a double-edged sword, right?
Yeah.
The reality is, right, the CISO in me says, good job, company, because they touched on a topic that was near and dear to employees' hearts based on what was actively going on. And so the reality is we know from an attacker standpoint, that's what attackers do. Attackers utilize current events, current time, and everything going on to try and get you to stand down. They try and get you to look differently. They try and get you to operate differently, right? And so because they try and get you to operate differently in that moment of weakness, that's what the company did. Right. And so, again, the CISO in me says, right, you did the right thing to try and show employees how vulnerable they are and how easy it is to be tricked into doing something and how you must stay diligent at all times, right? Now, the other edge to that sword is employees were super sensitive because it's their money. Right? When you talk about money, that's livelihood. That's, can I feed my family? That's, can I keep a roof over my head? That's so many things that are personal to just our day-to-day living. Right. And so money being a sensitive topic, I get why employees would be upset, right? But employees have to look at the other side. So I always try and tell people, when you get offended about something, change your lens, right? Look at it from the other view. And so, the company, looking at it from the employee standpoint, is why they responded the way they did and apologized and sort of said, you know what, we were being a little insensitive and we didn't think about that. And then from an employee standpoint, employees being upset, I get it, it's right, but they should also then look and say, you know what, I understand our company was trying to do something good, and yes, it hurts and it's upsetting, and the timing wasn't great, but I get it. But like, let's try and figure out a way through this.
I mean, it sounds superhero-ish, but seriously, the bad guys don't take days off, and they honestly don't care what's going to make our feelings hurt. They're going to come after you. And I agree with you, Larry. It was a tough one because on one side I'm going, oh, Lord, how have we gotten to a stage in our world where we're this sensitive about things? But also, oh gosh, yeah, that would probably really make me upset if I was sitting here in a precarious financial position and all of a sudden my company sends out something saying I might get a bonus and then I fall for it. But that's exactly what hackers will do, people. So unfortunately, sometimes, all right, well, let's put that to bed. We don't want to draw any more judgment on them. We know it was the right proactive thought, but maybe not the right way of going about it. In other news, over the weekend, we heard that Universal Health Systems here in the U.S. got hacked. They may have 400 medical sites that are vulnerable to this. And it makes me think about the attack in the Dusseldorf health system last week. And I'm sitting there feeling for this CISO and the CTO and the CEO of Universal Health Systems going, in Germany last week, a person was lost, died as a result of a hacking. Larry, can you maybe just lean in on that story a little bit and tell our audience what we're thinking?
Yeah, so this is it's really unfortunate, right? So a woman was in an ambulance on the way to a particular hospital. That hospital was undergoing a cyber attack and could not take her because their systems were down due to the cyber attack. They then had to reroute her. And in rerouting her to another hospital, which was, I don't know how far away, she died. She passed. And it's an unfortunate result, right? But I don't think that's the first time that's probably happened. It
Probably
may
not.
be probably the first time we've heard national news about it, but I don't think that's the first time. And if we look at the last 5 years of the attacks on healthcare and how they've grown, this is why.
Right.
That one factor right there is why this is happening and growing in healthcare.
Right.
In healthcare, unlike many, many other industries, you have life and death.
Right.
You have immediate potential for life and death. And because of that, it makes it all the more crucial and all the more imperative when they deal with it, when they deal with a cyber attack, for them to pay ransomware, for them to do things that for maybe a normal business, oh yeah, I'm not going to pay ransomware because I've got backups and I can bring things back, so it's not as big a deal. But for a health system, it is. It's a humongous deal because it's not just the company. It is the lives that they hold in their hand. Right. And so that's why we've seen, I think it's 400% increase over the last 5 years in healthcare attacks. It's going to continue. And so healthcare, so I think a lot of people, so I was in healthcare for a long time as a CISO. Right. And I don't think a lot of people realize how small the margins are in healthcare, right? Right. Healthcare.
We don't think that. Seeing our health bills, we don't think that.
No, we don't. Right. And that doesn't matter where you are in the world, right? Everybody thinks that healthcare is this it's not a massive money-making industry. They make money, but so much of the money goes back into the organization to fund the technology and all the different things that they have to do to actually keep people alive. But they're going to have to start looking at how to start spending more on security and making security more a part of what they do from the beginning, right? Healthcare is about innovation and new ways to try and deliver care and new ways to solve long-time healthcare problems, and it's all important. But the threat that the healthcare industry is facing today and its downstream impact on lives and life and death, they've got to start rethinking security's place in the overall healthcare ecosystem from a technology standpoint.
100%. I've got my dog here who's about to be my ecosystem of protection at my house. In the world of COVID, people, we're bringing you live news right from the front lawn of our house here, and my dog's about to be my cybersecurity here. So, Larry, thank you so much for chiming in today. I want to make sure we leave our participants with time, and I know that we didn't have much time today, but two really big problems in the industry, and we need to make sure that we're making sure people are thinking deeply about what's at risk. These are criminals we are dealing with. This isn't someone who has good intent. These are criminals, cyber criminals, and we need to be focused on that a little bit more.
Agreed, 100%.
Thanks so much for calling in from the car. Everybody will be back next week. Take care.
All right.